We're back with the bad vibe with Dwight and Jeremy.
This is episode 135.
Yeah.
So, all right, we live in a small town.
Correct.
And there's like all this weird fucking gun violence and shit going on now.
Just for the first-time listeners, we live in a town of roughly...
A little over 2,000.
Yeah, about 2,000 people. A very, very small town.
So, anyways, right across the street from me, there's like this ditch. And these guys were like mowing it or whatever.
Yeah.
And they like hit a gun.
Was it a like county mowing it?
No, it was like professional mowers.
People just... Okay.
Mexicans. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Professional mowers, right?
More on that later. Go ahead.
No, anyways, there was some Mexican mowers.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, Mexicans are great mowers.
Yeah. What you're saying is if Trump had his way, none of this would have happened.
Yeah. My wife, she weed eats. She's part Mexican. So that's why she don't mow. Right?
She just gets the corners and up around the trees.
Anyways, so they hit a gun. I don't know what kind of gun it was. I think it was like a pistol.
Yeah.
You know? And it fired.
That's crazy, dude.
Like they were mowing, it hits it and like shoots or whatever. So the guy probably like thought he was getting like robbed or
I mean, I would imagine you hear a gunshot while you're mowing. You're like, you hit the deck.
He's like, that thing backfired like crazy.
I mean, my lawnmower makes gunshot noises every time I drive it.
So I was at work when this happened, but I found out about it later on.
Nice, you had an alibi.
Cops and shit,
you're like, if you look at my time card, I was at work.
Yeah, me and this little punch, like a punch clock or whatever. I wonder if people still have those. Yeah. I think like coal mines and stuff do, right?
Yeah,
it always seems like a hard-working place.
Yeah,
does.
If you stick a card into a punch machine to clock into work, you don't get paid well or respected.
Mine, right?
Yeah, and I did it for years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ramsey's.
Now I just like show up about the time I'm supposed to, and they just.
All right, so. Anyways, so we're sitting there watching TV and shit. My wife looks outside and she's like, "Oh my gosh, there's cops everywhere."
Yeah,
there's 3 cop cars right in front of our house.
Out of instinct,
I'm all like, I'm thinking like, what did I do?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm like, what did I do?
Dude, if a cop pulled up in front of my house at anytime a cop goes by slowly, I get nervous. It's just an instinct.
I'm like, how could I blame whatever I did on the one-armed man?
Yeah.
Right? In the fugitive.
You're in there shredding documents. It's like just insurance papers and shit.
So anyways,
you're like, Crystal, flush this. You're just handing her sugar and stuff.
So I'm like, they might think, right? But anyways, so I'm like, let's go outside in the yard, like act like we're doing something so we can like, investigate. So we'll go out there, we're like in our driveway, I'm messing with my Jeep, I'm messing with my bike, and we're just like in the driveway.
you have a like a ratchet and a wrench, and you're acting like you're fixing your Jeep.
I'm standing next to the tree with a wrench, like I'm tightening up the...
You're working on your Jeep, the cop's like, "Sir, you can't tighten rivets with a ratchet." Yeah. You're like, "Oh, sorry, officer."
But anyways...
Didn't even notice y'all were here. Wink, wink.
Yeah. Anyways, so... we're sitting there watching them. We're looking. They're all walking up and down the ditch, and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And there's like all the neighbors are out looking too. Everyone's like, "Oh, what's going on?" People are passing by and slowing down. They're like, "What's going on over there?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
I said, "Hey."
Yeah. What's going on?
We just heard that song.
It's ridiculous.
It's in my head.
All right, so
you're gonna have to say something really funny.
It shouldn't be.
You're gonna have to say something extremely funny to push that song out of my
ridiculous.
Head. It's in there, dude. It's dug in like a tick.
All right. Anyways. The time's ticking. No, all right. So when they're all like getting done, they're like fixing to drive off, and one of them starts walking up our driveway to me.
You got nervous, right?
Oh shit! I'm like, I don't like talking to cops.
Dude, we're old school outlaws, and it doesn't wash off.
Like I know at this time we already know that there was a gun that went off, and the cops are out investigating, and he's walking up to me.
You're like, I might have shot the gun. I don't know.
You know what I mean? I'm all like washing my hands to make sure that, just in case, there's like,
You got your hands on the muffler of your Jeep, like burning off your fingerprints. Yeah. What's up, officer?
He's like, you don't do that either.
I'm just working on the exhaust here, nothing to see. This awful smell of burning flesh is just hanging in the air.
All right, so anyways, he's like, they're already on file. You've been arrested before. All right, so no, anyways.
Everybody in this podcast, our little company, definitely is on file with a record.
All right. So, anyways,
including Leslie.
He's asking me like if I see anything I need to call. Any kind.
See something, say something.
And I was like, okay. Well, the whole thing I was thinking, all right, because Texas, since last Friday at 12:01 p.m., has been under a law now where you have to wear a mask everywhere you go. So any kind of businesses, yes.
Oh, no shit. I thought it was...
You didn't know that?
I thought it was business to business, but most businesses were in on it.
No, as of 12:01 p.m. last Friday, yeah, if you're in a local business anywhere, you have to have it on. If you're out in public, you have to have it on.
This is relevant. In the United States...
He wasn't wearing one. He was 3 feet in front of me. We almost made out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he had a uniform.
Could have helped your case.
He had a uniform, right? He looked,
He could have been an officer and a gentleman.
I mean, he looked pretty nice.
You're the gentleman.
I'm definitely not the gentleman. I got melted fingertips over here.
Just like in the movie, he's both.
like, they'll be smoother on my dick.
You lube it up with your drippy skin. Dude,
anyway.
no, hold on. This is important.
Oh, no.
In the whole United States of America.
I don't think there's ever been anything we've said on here important, so go ahead.
I'm pretty sure we slandered Joe Biden a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I looked into it, and I might have had him mixed up with another guy. But anyway.
How do you mix Joe Biden up with anybody right now? That's pretty hard to do.
It was either Joe Biden or John McCain. One of them two was the one that plagiarized. Anyway, it's not important. In the whole United States of America, the city with the most, that's the worst for new cases of corona is 30 minutes from here.
What?
It's where my wife works. That's the worst? I saw a thing.
That's the worst out of the state?
Out of the country.
What?
In the United States of America, they show hotspots, right?
Oh, for per capita kind of thing.
That it's rising, the most new cases over. So...
Is that something you should be proud of? Or
people are. I saw a meme that showed that statistic, and then it was the thing off of what's that? Ricky Bobby, he drives race cars.
Oh yeah.
And it says if you're not first, you're last. And it's finally our town is first in something. They're like, we never win in sports. We don't have this. We don't have that. And it's they're winning it. But dude, just today I went to the grocery store and I put a mask on. And I had my glasses and my hat. I mean, it looked like I was gonna rob them. And I thought about it.
Did you have a bandana?
No.
I have a black one. I've been wanting to wear it.
That's badass.
You know? I'm like, hell yeah.
Tied in the front like Tupac. It's just a knot under your nose.
Yeah, they're like, what are you doing?
No, but so I went to the grocery store. I wore a mask. I felt ridiculous, but everybody else had them, so I was like, I don't feel so stupid. My glasses are just fogging up the whole time. Anyway, so then I wanted to go to the convenience store to get something else when I left there. So I went to the convenience store, and I didn't put a mask on because I was like, I didn't think it mattered. So I went to the door, and there's a huge sign on the door. It says, no mask, no service.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh, okay. So I ran back to my truck. I got my mask.
Ran over there?
No. I walked slowly. I don't know why I said ran.
You took a break halfway there.
Yeah. So there is a little picnic table about halfway between.
That's ridiculous.
But so I
sat at it for a few minutes, didn't you?
So I slowly worked my way back to the truck.
Yeah.
And had a snack.
That sounds a lot better.
Yeah, it's more accurate for sure.
Yeah.
If anything on this show, we are truth tellers. So, and I put my mask on, and I went back in the store. I get in the store, not a single soul in that store has a mask except me.
Really?
Not the worker? I mean, the sign it's like a huge, fucking, poster board thing.
You know, that all started last Friday. And businesses are starting to ease up on it, especially small businesses.
Well, this is, this is a small business. It's locally owned or whatever. But the lady who worked in the store was behind it with it over, she had a beard. She had it down there.
A chin strap?
Yeah, and she was, busy or whatever. The other lady, this is
busy giving everybody Corona.
This is my favorite. This is the store where they make pizzas, And we talked about it a while back that I stole from them. Dude, I know they don't listen, but the thing I stole, I told you it was eye level on a rack right next to where you stand to pay.
Yeah.
It's way down on the rack now. It's like they moved it. But anyway, that's not important. The other lady who worked there, because it's a place that also has they make pizzas. The lady who makes pizzas, she had on the thing you put down when you're working with a grinder?
Yeah.
A face shield?
Yeah.
She had one of those, but she almost looked like a blackjack dealer. She had it up here. She had it like it was the brim of her hat. She had it kicked up like that, and she was just fucking making pizzas, just breathing and spitting on everything. There were 7 or 8 customers in there.
Big blind.
Yeah. We're all in the big, can't smell or taste. Is there a single word for that? Dumb means you can't talk, which is hilarious. Even though most people that are dumb talk too much. Yeah, deaf and dumb. That means you can't hear or talk.
I didn't know.
Some people are just dumb.
Well, it just means like retarded.
Well, that's funny because most people who are dumb talk a lot.
Yeah, we both do.
Yeah, exactly.
we couldn't talk enough. Right?
We have 135 episodes of dumb shit. Right. No, so she's wearing the face mask like she's fucking, fabricating something out of metal, but she's got it up. All the customers, nobody, it was like I was in fucking Bizarro World. Because
now you have it on, you feel stupid because no one else does.
I look like a goddamn idiot.
All right, now I've been to a bunch of stores today, and I was at work today, and I had to wear it up there almost all the whole time. But at all the stores that I went to, everyone had it. I went to Walmart, every fucking person had it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a law right now, though.
At places like that, it's
you're gonna fine if you don't have it on.
Well, the store I went into,
$250 hairs.
There's no way I would pay that.
Yeah.
I agree, like, we should do it, whatever. But you can't let the government tell you what you have to do. Like, I get it. Like, I'm going to wear it if I go somewhere because maybe it helps. I don't even know if it helps that much. But it makes people feel safe and all that. But if they try to give me a ticket for it, I made the same argument when I got a ticket one time for a seatbelt. I was like, it's stupid. Well, of course I did pay that. But no, I went in this store and it's like all
right, I think the seatbelt thing is ridiculous. Maybe if your kids didn't have it, it's your fault.
Maybe if motorcycles didn't exist.
That's what I'm saying. A motorcycle guy doesn't have to have it. And they're like, oh, well, he knows when he's getting in it. I know when we get in the car.
Yeah.
So if I choose to not wear it, you shouldn't give me a fucking.
You don't know me. Maybe I want to fly through the windshield like Superman.
They're like, but the guy with the motorcycle, he just hits a fucking pebble the wrong way and his leg's gone.
He thinks he saw a deer and he swerves and he's dead. No deer either. Yeah. Just, dude, our grandma went through the windshield of, I want to say, a Jeep.
Awesome.
She went through the windshield and flew like 100 feet or something like that. Maybe rolled mostly.
Yeah.
But,
she might fly. Right?
And she's fine.
Yeah.
I remember going to see her right after that wreck and she looked like, she looks rough, dude.
Like she does now.
Yeah, exactly.
But this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, this was, pretty much. About 30 years ago. She had little cuts all over, like, they always talk about that Chinese torture where they cut little bitty cuts and they keep doing it. That's what she looked like. I remember being scared of her because she had all those cuts. She's like, come here, Bubba. And I was like, I don't think so. Yeah. You creepy bitch. But, it was like the Crypt Keeper. But anyway, so the reason I got excited when you talked about your lawnmower gunshot incident is on this very day, July, whatever today is, the year of our Lord. Yeah. So anyway, in this little tiny town that we already mentioned, we had a shooting.
Now, did you find out more since you talked to me?
I know a lot.
Oh, shit. Okay,
so my wife told me initially. She's like, there was a shooting, whatever. And then she talked to her sister. This isn't any kind of like, nobody in authority leaked this information. Her sister had nothing to do with the case. Just everybody was talking about it around town.
Yeah.
So it's not like, whatever. But, so anyway, so there was a disturbance. There was like a domestic dispute, and the cops got called. The cop pulls up. He pulls up to the house, and as soon as he gets out of his car to, like, see what the fuck's going on. See, around here, cops don't get out on edge. Because there's not a lot of...
a cop car don't pull up, lights on, they open the door, and they're in the door frame of it, and they're like, put your hands on your head. That doesn't happen.
No, the cops probably never pull their gun out except to, like, show it off on a date or something. Yeah. They probably have the same bullets in them since, like, the 80s. The bullets are, like, rusted in them.
It doesn't fire.
Yeah. It turns out after all this time, it's a water gun. Yeah. It's just old-ass 80s water in it. He's like, I haven't had to reload it.
They don't even shoot that. Yeah. It doesn't even, right?
Yeah. So he pulls the trigger and a little thing comes out, a little flag, it says bang. But so the cop pulls up to, like, at this place, and the dude, this dude runs out and stabs the cop in the neck.
Today?
Yes! In our town. No less than a half a mile from where we sit as we speak. The blood's probably still on the sidewalk.
Is he dead?
I know. As far as I know, nobody's dead. But anyway, here. So
how did I not know this?
I don't know. So this dude stabs the cop in the neck and goes for the cop's gun. He doesn't know it's a water gun. He thinks he needs it. He's thirsty. He's like, I've been beating my wife all day. I need a sip.
Oh, shit.
No, so he stabs him, and he reaches for the gun. There's a struggle. The cop pulls the gun and shoots the guy. Now, the first thing I heard was that the guy was shot 3 times in the dick area.
Why would he shoot him there?
I think in the struggle, he just shot wherever he could, but he shot him 3 times, so that makes me think this guy's like...
Maybe he thought it was a water gun, he was trying to make it look like he pissed.
He's like, you've been sentenced to embarrassment for the rest of the afternoon.
He's like, oh shit, they gave me the real one today.
He accidentally grabbed the wrong one.
Oh,
He's
shit.
like, thank
I
God...
thought it felt a little heavy.
He's like, thank God I didn't take a sip out of it at my lunch break like normal. That's what all cop suicides are.
Yeah.
Accidental.
Yeah, they picked the wrong one.
So, the one, like, the old school cop has, like, rum in his, you know?
Oh.
So he shoots the guy, like, somewhere, like, around the waist or below the waist. And the dude, I guess, tried to run away, so he popped him 2 more times. Now, how he shot him in the dick 2 more times?
He was running away?
He was running away and he was backpedaling away, I guess. I don't know. This is just a story I heard. Well, next week...
He got shot in the dick, now he's backpedaling.
He's got a huge dick. He got shot in the dick from behind. You're not going to shoot me in the dick from behind.
Damn.
You know? The balls, yes.
Wow.
Dick, no. But, so he shot him, and
he's
so
like, 5 shots, couldn't drop it. I fucked her and smiled. He went back in the house and fuck his wife.
Yeah. So anyway, so I told my wife, I was like, holy shit.
Now he's got that Jesus dick.
He's got the stigmata on his dick.
The dickmata. All right.
So I told my wife, because she told me all this over the phone, and I was like, holy shit. Actually, you'll remember, when I first heard that somebody got shot here in town, I texted you and asked if you'd been shot. Because I was thinking, like,
what?
I said it as a joke, but then when you didn't answer for like 30 minutes, I was like, wait a minute. Because you do have, like, I've told you, how many times have I told you, your stupid road rage and shit's gonna get you shot? And I was like, somebody didn't use their blinker, he flashed his lights, they got out and busted a cap. That's what I thought. And then anyway, so you told me it wasn't you. So I told my wife, I was like, who?
I haven't had road rage in a while, though.
A while, but you do it all the time.
Like hours.
But, so I asked my wife, I was like, is this somebody we know or something? She's like, oh yeah, I know the guy. And I was like, who was it? She's like, Crazy Dave. And I was like, Crazy Dave?
She's like, who would have ever thought he'd do something like that?
That's kind of how she said it. She's like, yeah, Crazy Dave. And I was like, I mean...
Crazy Dave.
So it all makes sense. She's like, well, I mean, he was just like, he was always like, he's like kind of a crazy guy. So he's a crazy guy, you know? Yeah. It's like... But yeah, Crazy Dave stabbed a cop, went for his gun, got shot 3 times in the dick. Now, Don't take it to press. I don't know that all these details are perfectly accurate, but I do know Crazy Dave stabbed a cop and got shot.
Is he dead?
Well, he may be now. They got an airplane. I mean, not an airplane. They landed an airplane. It's like a 747.
They just killed a bunch more people landing.
Broke the wings off.
Oh, shit.
No, so they landed a helicopter and hauled his ass off. And because they were bringing a helicopter in, and I was like, well, fuck, maybe it's for the cop. But then somebody told me, they're like, no, it was the Crazy Dave.
Crazy
Dave's helicopter rides or something. You know, it's like, I'm Crazy Dave. I'm slashing cop prices.
Now he's gonna be Dickless Dave now.
I mean, yeah, it's like his dick. If it's still in there, it ain't gonna get hard anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know, because she first said he got shot in the groin 3 times, and then I was like, the cop just emptied a clip on his cock, and she's like, well, she said that's what she said. She heard like one was like somewhere around like the belly button, one was like maybe an upper leg. The cop was clearly going. Shot? He was clearly going for Dave.
Yeah,
you know? Clearly. I think Crazy Dave might have fucked the cop's wife or something.
Wow.
Well, because when I first heard somebody got shot.
What started the whole thing?
I think he was like, it was like a domestic thing. Like, him and his wife were fighting, or him and somebody. He was...
Like off of cops?
Yeah, and that happens all the time. Where they get
dick
caught.
Shooting?
No, not dick shooting.
God.
No. But where there's like a call, like, you know, there's like a big fight at a house, and whether it's family or just somebody's at your house and there's a big fight, somebody calls the cops.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of shit.
I've seen that kind of stuff.
Of course you have.
I dated a girl that her family had them on.
The cops were just like, every time. Every time the phone rang, they just got in the car and went to her house.
The mom had them on speed dial.
Yeah.
They're like, you know, you can like do something on your phone to make them call faster. She's like, I have a faster way.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
they're called automatically every hour on the hour.
Yeah, it's just a natural.
It's just a natural, like.
It's just a reoccurring. Yeah. It's like a one of those bot calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know when they say, like, for English, press 1, they're like, if you're, and they said their name, press 1, right? They have their own, like, answering at the police station.
Oh, shit. And they're number 1 and 2?
Yeah. They built a police station, like, next door, just so that's right there.
That is crazy. That was a house full of women. Your girlfriend and her mom, and then the grandma was there.
They're all fucking psycho.
No dudes, but they were in it all. You know what I'll tell you is...
a fucking cat fight every day.
This is the girl, if you're listening, if you're a long-time listener, this is the girl that Dwight dated that threw beans at his feet because he had already had lunch.
Yeah.
Which is the greatest thing. You know how you always see, like...
The beans were probably nasty. I mean, she just bought the paper.
Yeah, yeah. But did you ever see, like, the big time podcasts that have huge followings? They'll have those, like, cartoon things. Like, you know, like, it'll be them telling a story as the audio, and there'll be a cartoon acting the story. That's the one I'd want to get done. Is that you're at work, you're like, hey, what's up? She's like, I brought you beans. And you're like, oh, well, I just had a sandwich. She just throws them at your feet.
And then take off in a little rice burner car.
Yeah. So that girl, her family, they're from another state. Anyway, they're Irish, like extremely Irish.
Yeah.
So my idea of what an Irish person is, because where we live, we don't have any, like, I'm partly Irish and stuff, but we don't have any people because that are, what's the word I'm looking for? Irish, what's the thing I'm thinking?
It's fuck.
No, but like culturally Irish.
Yeah.
Like I'm culturally a Texan. Mm-hmm. But like in the Northeast, the people that are from up there, they're like culturally Irish. Like an Irish person acts a certain way and an Italian does, and a Jewish, like here we don't have that. So when I think of like Irish people, I think like fiery tempers, crazy, like, and I'll base it all on that family, those couple of women. And like I was like, somebody's like, you know what they say about the Irish? I'm like, they throw beans.
Yeah.
You know,
like, I guess they might.
Yeah, right? I would think potatoes, but sure. Yeah, they like starchy foods. But anyway, yeah, dude. So our fucking, like, it's hard to even like.
This is a very small town. It's kind of like, I've always called it like the Pleasantville.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's hard to even reiterate it enough.
Or Silvertown. You know, it's like nobody ever moves out.
There's no like.
It's not violence.
Right
There's
now,
one cop at a time.
Yeah, right now as we record, it's like almost 11 at night, and if my wife was like, "Hey, I'm gonna walk to my brother's house, and it's across town," I would have no reservations about telling her, "Yeah, go ahead." Like, just walk through town.
Someone's gonna ride my bike, and it's like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, it's like there's crime here. I guess like you hear about stuff getting stolen and things like that, but this isn't like meth isn't a problem here. None of that shit.
That cop told me, the one that came across and talked.
Did he have a stab wound in his neck?
No, he didn't.
This was the day before. Yeah, he does now.
So this ain't the same matter. This is a county cop. Anyways, he told me that there's this, I guess, this crime ring.
Oh God.
Right, that's going on, and it's been in this like tri-county area, and the thing, it's all based out of this town.
Oh shit!
And in the apartments in Ganado.
Where we used to live.
Huh?
Where we used to live. Yeah.
So he's like, we've narrowed it down to where we know it's in these apartments. They're trying to do an investigation and try to find out who. But anyways, what's going on is it's happened in Victoria, it happened in El Campo. Anyways, people have went and they've been stealing guns and like breaking in and like stealing money and stuff out of people's houses.
I don't have money or very many guns.
And there was this camper trailer parked at the apartments.
Yeah.
No one really knew whose it was. It was just parked there. And that's what they've been like storing it in.
Ah.
And then they would like, when someone is loaded up, they would like take it to Houston.
Nice.
So anyways, they've been transporting it. They've been having kids transport from house to house what they think is maybe drugs and guns.
How do we get involved in this?
I'm like, what the hell, right?
I want a piece. I want to invest.
What's crazy is this cop's telling me all this stuff while I'm standing next to my bike. Right? I had just bought a new bike. So he's telling me all this, like, it's being transported by bicycles.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And what the thing is might be by kids.
They might be investigating you. You have a bunch of kids, and you've been buying bicycles like fucking hotcakes lately. We met, dude, for the listeners, I made a joke a few weeks ago about, like, I was like, dude, you've been buying bikes all the time, and you tried to downplay it, but in fact had bought 3 bikes that week. You bought another bike yesterday.
Yeah.
You're obsessed with buying bikes. Are you involved?
No.
I want to check your pulse and heart rate or whatever and say, like, this is a lie detector test. Are you involved in the bike gun ring? I wonder what the gang's called.
I don't know.
I always want to be a part of a gang. We were always, like, rough and tumble and definitely, like, crime. But we were never in a nice
something like that in this town, you know?
I mean, this town is going to shit, I guess. And you know, I thought whenever I heard that the cop shot somebody, I was like, oh no, there better not be like protests here because of that. But then I found out that it was Hispanic on Hispanic.
Crazy Dave.
Yeah, Crazy Dave is Hispanic. And so
he's a Mexican dude?
Yeah, and so was the cop.
Oh. Okay.
So nobody like.
Well, I think I know which cop it is. Now
I think we can all agree that Hispanic lives don't matter.
There's 4 cops in this town, so I know exactly who it is. I think.
Yeah. Well, he'll be the one with the wound on his neck, you know, and the smoking gun on his side. Or
that's his new holster. He sticks his gun in that hole in the neck.
I mean, I don't know how, because my wife's like, I don't know how bad the stab was. I was like, I don't think there's a good stab in the neck.
No.
If you just clipped at my neck with toenail clippers, I would freak the
guy
fuck
was
out.
reaching at him and shaved his beard off. Right?
The cop goes to the hospital after it. They put a little piece of toilet paper on it.
Oh shit.
He's like, all better.
Yeah.
But
got him with a Gillette. Gillette razor blade.
5 blades for smooth.
He runs at him
shave.
and he smooths some shaving cream on his neck first.
While it's a struggle. The guy's got a towel over his shoulder. While he's like struggling with the razor blade.
That's ridiculous.
It is. Yeah. You got to make light of it because otherwise it's just like, hey, we live in a town where cops and bad guys getting stabby shooty fights. You know. I mean, everybody listening to this that's from any town that anybody's ever heard of is like, yeah, that happens.
I'm sure he probably had a shit in a shave, right?
Could you imagine though being like, I'm asking you this more so than the listener. You're a cop here and you're on Easy Street.
Oh yeah.
You're like, what's the most? Dude, the biggest thing a cop's ever done in this town was done to us. They kicked our door down one time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've ever got into that before.
He didn't kick it down. He
tried to kick it down.
He was knocking with his foot.
No.
That's the best thing.
All our pictures fell on the floor, and there's dents in our door.
But he didn't kick the door down.
He tried.
Didn't open it.
He tried.
He was kicking it, but I was just more of a, oh shit. I was like, what the hell?
He tried to kick the door down, because I remember thinking like, oh, I don't know what's going on, it's no big deal. And then when I heard like our pictures hitting the floor,
hard thuds,
I was like, this guy means business.
Yeah, I know you're in there. I'm like, oh no.
I told you. Okay, let's just recap it.
Okay.
Back in, this was in the days when smartphones were not very common. They were just starting out.
Like 08, 09?
Yeah. So we lived in these apartments, these same apartments this crime ring has run out of.
I started it.
Yeah, they carried on our legacy. So we lived in these apartments. Out on the AC unit outside of our apartment, there sat a smartphone.
Yeah, it was like some little Samsung.
You can, I guess, tell us since you did it.
I didn't have an iPhone
I'll cut
back
in
then. I actually got one like not long after, a few weeks after it. I just got that one in my hands. I wanted one.
You got the taste for it.
So, anyways, I'm walking out to my car and I see this phone, a touchscreen phone. This, they weren't very common back then.
Yeah.
But I see it sitting on this AC, like he was saying, and I was just like, okay. So I keep walking. I go to my car and I'm like inspecting. Like, is anybody out here? I keep watching it. Like, is someone gonna get it? Right? So no one is. So when I get whatever it is out of my car, I go back and I just like pick it up and walk in the house. And I'm like, look what I found outside.
Yeah.
And I somehow I get into it, look at it. So it was some like Mexican chick that was like a neighbor. And it's like, I mean, she had some pretty decent pictures, but I mean, like, anyways, I was just looking through there.
Looking at brown tits.
I was like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with it? I was immediately like, terrified.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna fucking know.
Because we didn't
freaking
know,
out.
I'm like, they could probably track them.
I'm like, they're gonna know it's in here. So I get the Sims card out, and I cut it into tiny little pieces.
That's my favorite.
With a fucking knife. I'm just chopping it up in little pieces, and I go and, flush it down the toilet.
Okay, now, my advice at the time.
So, hold on.
I just want to tell them where you went wrong. We could have won this exchange.
Yeah, to not ever do that.
Yeah.
To not ever cut up the thing. Because once I did that, it's fine.
No. We could have won this exchange. I told you, at the time, once the kicking on the door was starting, because that went on for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember we were watching that 70s show. I just turned it up.
I was scared.
So anyway, I told you, I was like, look, here's what you do. Take this phone. We'll take it apart. We'll break each individual piece in a little piece and flush it down the toilet. When the cop comes in, we act like we just woke up. What's going on? You have this phone, search the house. You're not going to find the phone. And we're free. They could be like, our neighbors will hate us forever because they know we took it. They saw you take it.
Yeah.
But they can't prove that it's not in this house. We didn't leave. That's what I told you. You're like, no, I'm just going to whatever. So I was like, all right, well then I'm going to act like I've been asleep this whole time. And because I'm not going to get involved unless we go with my story. because there's no point of me being like there, because I'll just get you in more trouble.
Yeah.
If I'm there and they're like, so what do you do? Our stories aren't going to match because. No. So I was like, all right. So I went acting like I was asleep, which I remember how good of a job I did.
Yeah.
I pushed my hands onto my eyes. I rubbed my eyes so they were red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go answer the door. The cop had to be like, because he asked me, he's like, you were sleeping? I was like, yeah. He's like, you didn't hear us knocking? And I was like, no. I was like, were you knocking for a while? I didn't. He was kicking.
I was in my room like terrified.
He was kicking the door.
They were knocking at first.
Yeah, they were knocking and then they called the cops.
And they didn't speak English, really.
Yeah.
So anyways, so I hear this fucking thud real hard on the fucking door, and we're like, I'm freaking out. You're saying all this stuff to do. I'm just like, fuck it. So I go and like hit it in my closet. Right? This is after I
That's the worst thing you could have done.
Fucking pieces down the fucking toilet. Anyways, I go in there, I'm like, yeah, what's going on? And he's like, you? And I was all like, hey, because we knew the cop.
Yeah, pretty well.
And, I mean, he was like a young cop or whatever. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he's like, they said that you stole. He was all like, cool now. He's like, they said that you picked up a phone.
He automatically took your side because you're white, I think.
And I was just like, and he's like, look, if you have it, just go get it. And, I'll give it back to you. And I was like, all right. This is like my chance.
You knew. He gave you an out.
Yeah.
He was a good cop in that way.
I was like, I just found it on the thing, so I just took it. And he's all
this
like,
is my favorite part, dude.
So I went and like grabbed it, and I went and gave it back to him. He's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? He's like, you're better than that.
You're better than that, Dwight.
So anyways.
You should get that tattooed on your back.
He's like,
you're better than that, Dwight.
So
in my brain, he said it like 40 times. But
so I'm like, all right. So anyways, I close the door, and he walks over. And like 2 minutes later, he comes back and knocks. Right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, where's the SIM card?
He should have said he didn't have
and I'm
one.
like,
what's a SIM card? I don't know.
I was like, I flushed it down the toilet. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know.
Dude, I'm gonna laugh. I'm laughing so gay right now.
So he went over there when he was talking, and I was like, look, I'll buy him a new one. I mean, they can go to the thing. So I ended up like, I guess I had to go and like buy one.
Yeah, I remember you had to give him like $24 or something.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is so weird. I ended up losing money in the deal. I'm the worst thief, right?
I told you all you had to do.
Yeah, it was a shitty phone anyway.
Take that phone into like 3 or 4 pieces, break each of those pieces pretty small. Those toilets flush like a motherfucker.
That's the only Android I've ever owned, and I only had it for like
an hour. Flushed part of it down the toilet.
Yeah, because I freaked out as soon as I walked in with it.
Yeah, but it was like, we've always like, we've stolen and things like that, and you gotta like stay calm and stuff. And when the cops started kicking the door, he must have known. He was expecting some Mexican dude in there. He was probably gonna just shoot him.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. But he
stabbed him in the neck.
Yeah. Yeah. But when he saw you, and he, like we knew that cop pretty well.
Yeah.
Like he was like up until that point, like a friend of ours. Yeah. Now every time I see him, like I see him around, and I'm always like ashamed because he knew.
Yeah.
He looked at me. All right, there's nothing he can do about me saying I've been asleep.
Yeah.
But he knew that he's like, how are you asleep? He was banging on the windows, kicking. I mean, like, I'm not exaggerating that all of our pictures and things that were on the wall that door shares were all on the floor. He was kicking it so hard it was shaking the wall of the apartment.
I think it actually has dents on the door. It's a metal door.
Yeah, it definitely does. He couldn't kick it down though, which is hilarious. He's He's an ex-Marine though. He's like a ripped.
Those doors really hold up.
That should have been a commercial for whoever makes those doors, because he is a pretty like jacked dude.
Yeah.
He's not a big guy. He's like skinny-ish guy, but if he can't kick it down, like most people wouldn't be able to kick that door down. But that story is so funny because you were just like, I don't know, it was just funny but I told you, I was like, dude, we'll break it into a few pieces, we'll flush it, let him in and be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so have you noticed, I meant to bring one with me, but I don't have pockets on these shorts. The newest quarter, have you seen it?
No.
You know what's on the back of it?
No.
A bat.
Oh, I have seen that one. I didn't know that was a new one.
I don't know how new it is.
Yeah, this whole big crisis with currency, and then like they're coming out with new coins.
Are we really running out of quarters?
Not quarters, but the other change. Yeah.
Who cares?
Pennies, nickels, and dimes.
Why do people care? Is it a big deal?
Yeah. Well, I kind of got screwed last weekend. I went to Dollar General and like I paid with something for like.
Dude, you owe them money.
Let's say it was like $5, right? $5, $45. I gave her $6. She's supposed to give me 55 cents back.
I know.
And she just gave me a receipt and said, thank you.
What?
And I was like, I don't get no change. And she's like, oh, sorry, we don't have change.
Okay, then.
And I was like,
give me $1 back.
That's what I was like, well, I want to get $1. And she's like, that's not how much. I was like, so you keep 55 cents, but I don't.
Yeah,
no. And she's like, no, I don't. We don't have change. I was like, yeah, but
you're keeping 55 cents, you dumb whore.
I paid for an item that was not that much.
You stupid fucking
and
slut.
I was just like, whatever. I was just like, we were going to the beach.
What?
I was just like, whatever.
What's happened to you?
So I was just like, I was pissed, but I was like, whatever. And we even went the next day, and I didn't even think about it.
The you I used to know would have destroyed that store. Yeah. You would still be there arguing until the Brinks truck shows up with their change bags.
I mean, I still have a chance.
And gives you 55 cents.
We're going back tomorrow.
Dude, I've told you before, my dad, who, of course, isn't your dad, but just whatever, there was a store near where we lived, and the ladies that worked there and owned it knew him real well and joked. My dad's he jokes with everybody, and they joked with him all the time. And when he would go in and buy something, they would always be like, hey, how about you just let me keep the change? Like, kind of like in a flirty way. And sometimes he'd be like, go ahead, it's like 8 cents or something. But then they did it one day, and he was like, no, because it was like $1 something. And they're like, come on, Larry, come on, they're being all flirty and whatever. And he's like, no, give me my change, And they're like, come on. And they just kept it. And he's like, all right. From then on, until that store closed, he didn't pay for stuff there. He used to drink a lot of Diet Cokes, you remember? He would go in the store, get him a Diet Coke, nod to the clerk, and walk out. For like a year or two. And they knew that. And they were just like, what can, I mean, I was like, what can they do? They're going to call the cops, I guess. Yeah. But he told me one time, and I was a kid, like, in my mid-teens, I guess like 14 or 15, and he took me to the store, and he's like, hey, I'm going to stay in the truck. He's like, hey, will you give me a Diet Coke when you're there? He's like, and just get it. Don't pay for it. I was like, come again? Because I didn't know his whole scheme. And stuff. And I was like, he's like, yeah. He's like, fuck them. They steal change from people, so fuck them. I've given them enough change over the years. He probably had given them enough to pay for like 2 Diet Cokes. Yeah. But yeah, I went in there and I grabbed the Diet Coke and I looked at the lady and I was like, this is for my dad. And she's like, okay. I was like, I'm just taking it, right? Like, I was like so nervous. I was like, I'm just going to take this. Yeah. And she's like, okay. It was a weird thing. Yeah. They didn't like. So that's what taught you at a young age that you just do that. Yeah. Right? So you need to go to the dollar store and steal a Diet Coke. You pull up to the dealership and you're like, I'm getting this for my dad, right? Yeah. So they give you keys. I mean, I'm like, Larry said somebody stole 18 cents from him once. Yeah. So I want a new truck. But that's the fact that they're running out of change though. Do you remember, it's came up a few times that I can recall in my life. Getting rid of pennies, nickels, and dimes. Getting rid of everything but quarters. Yes. You think that's like, they're just going to do it? If they do, they have to change the restructure of it. Like, it has to be something where, like, the change is going to end up rounding up, rounding down. Taxes will have to be different or something. How about we just do away with sales tax and make everything a dollar amount? Well, I mean, in some states there is. So, like, if I know in Oregon it was like that. No matter how many things you buy, they add up to, like, what's the word? Around about, like, $1. I'm trying to think of the word. There's a word for it. Dollar amount? Denominator? Like, that can't be it. There's a math word. Anyway, it's not denominator. Nice. I think denominator is the one on the bottom on a fraction. Yeah. Numerator? Dude, if I ever have to go back to school, I am fucked. Yeah. I know a lot about, like, things I enjoy. If I had to go back, I'll be, like, perfectly honest. If I couldn't use, like, the internet or calculators, the math I could pass, I'd probably have to go back as far as 2nd grade. Shit. Long division? I still use my I know I could, once you showed me how to do division again, I'd be like, oh yeah, it'd be easy. But the only part of division B is, like, they would take you that long to figure it out. They're like, Jeremy, we're asking what's 4 divided by 2 for fuck's sake. But I'm like, it's long division. I've been working on this problem for hours. My pencil's all chewed up. Yeah. I'm like, But I mean, what do you think? Like, if you had to go, you couldn't go back and just pass algebra right now, could you? I mean, I guess you could, because you would go back and be in the class being taught it. But I mean, like, if somebody were to give you algebra, like an algebra, like, I think it'd final be very exam, difficult, but Yeah, you're like A squared plus, like,
Yeah. Oh, what?
and you were always good at math, but the fact that you haven't done algebra in like decades or however long.
Yeah, but some of that like solve for A and X or whatever it is, I guess.
Do you remember like PEMDAS and stuff? Parentheses.
Yeah, like what you're supposed to do first. And all that. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Dude, I remember.
Of course, where I work, we don't have that. I'm not a fucking.
Nobody does.
I'm not a fucking rocket scientist.
I know, that's what I was gonna say.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's not like, yeah. But if I was a rocket scientist, they'd all look like Apollo 13. It's like, we don't have air and we're gonna crash. But Jeremy didn't carry the two, But
the rocket looks like Tesla's truck. It's like square.
Those break easy.
They break crazy.
It turns out, like, I just guessed at what A was. Did you ever have that? Well, I guess you were always kind of good at math, but I would always have this situation. All right, do you remember this paper? This was probably like 6th grade-ish, 5th.
Okay.
It was like this paper, and it was a rainbow on it. And
I don't remember nothing like that.
This is when I came out.
Yeah.
I sent that out to all my friends.
You're like, it was on the back of my paper. I drew a rainbow.
It was on this paper they kept taping to my back. No. So it was like this rainbow, and it had like, inside the rainbow, all in this big arc, it would started with a number like 47 or whatever. And then it was like plus something, minus, plus, times.
No, never saw.
And you had to do it, and at the end, you put your answer at the little pot of gold, right? Well, you understand the concept.
That was probably
right?
like one day y'all did that.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it took me
like all of 4th grade.
It might have taken me all of 4th grade to do it. So anyway, and I'll remember. This is how crazy memory works. I know you don't remember anything before you were like 15, but I remember this because it was in the science, like the classroom that was normally for science, and the desk in there was this black shit that you kind of dig. It was like this. It was like. The desk was like hard enough to write on, but if you got something like hard, you could like kind of like cut little grooves in it.
Are you supposed to cut into it?
No, that's all I did. I was just in there like digging away at it with something. I would take. I remember I took.
There's a pile right next to you, like off of Naked Gun, right outside.
I was gonna say, I'm like Andy out in the playground in my pockets, letting the black shit out.
Yeah.
So I took my pencil and I pulled the eraser out, so the little metal sharp thing, and I bent it over. It was a point. I made a shank.
Yeah.
And I would sit there and
I stabbed a cop. He stabbed a teacher.
And then he shot my dick off. And
she throws an apple at you.
Yeah. So I pointed the little metal eraser cover or whatever it's called, and I sit there and I would dig on the desk. Anyway, we were sitting in that classroom, and I was started this thing. I was like 47 times 8, and I'm thinking.
By the time you got the little shank done, everyone else was already done with their problem.
Yeah.
All you did was draw a rainbow.
Yeah. I look at my paper and I'm like, this is gonna suck. Yeah. So I did, and I didn't finish. I remember that I didn't finish it, and the teacher's like, well, just you can take it. I'm sure everybody else did. As I explain it now, it sounds like it was a pretty easy paper, yeah. But it's still weighing on my mind. Yeah. 30 years later.
It was a rainbow. All you had to do was color. But you thought you had to do math.
She's like, what are all these goddamn numbers? It was just like a little like fun day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did all my work in crayon.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't finish it. She's like, well, you can take it home and finish it, whatever. So I was like, all right. I'll take it home. Of course, I didn't I didn't do it at home. The next day was time, and she's like, you're going to have to finish it. And I remember being so stressed out about this goddamn rainbow. It was like, what's 5 plus 7? It's that kind of shit. And I remember I just like skipped, and at the end, I just wrote a number. Yeah. I was like, 66. I don't know. And the teacher was like, I remember the teacher like reviewed everybody's papers, and
they bring like in like major scientists.
I mean, the right answer was like 400.
They come in, and you're like off of Good Will Hunting. It was a problem like you're never gonna know. Right?
They're like, I heard some dumb poor kid in South Texas solved the rainbow riddle or whatever. Yeah. But I remember I wrote whatever I wrote, like I said, 66 or something, and the answer was something like 482 or something. So I mean, she was just like, are you like retarded? Like, you can't be that much off in numbers. And it was like I had and then I had to redo it, and it was like a real sense of like stress in my life. But anyway, dude, speaking of those black tables,
she's like, you put 2 purples on the rainbow. There's only 1.
Yeah, she's like, it's red, yellow, whatever. Yeah. No, so that was a math thing, but it was in that building. But there was a science teacher, and this was in like 5th grade, the year that I failed. Mm-hmm. And And I remember the very first day of science class, she was new that year. And she said, all right, this is science, and we learn about everything. She's like, so we don't say stuff in this class. You say the name of things. So you wouldn't say, like, you know, what's a star made out of? It's made out of stuff. She's like, there's a name of things. So all I did that entire, like, semester or whatever was try to trick her into saying the word stuff.
Oh, shit.
All I did. I didn't learn.
Did you ever get her to?
Oh, yeah, a bunch of times. I'd be like, ah! You know? Yeah, but I would say, like, hey, I would say like, it's almost like Thanksgiving. I'm like, yeah, my mom's getting a turkey, but she has to, and I'm like, what? And she's like, stuff? And I was like, gotcha. I didn't learn nothing. Yeah. All I did was try to make her say stuff.
You did learn. See, you did it for this.
I know. But we're learning, like, you know, once you're in 5th grade, you're learning, like, that's when school starts to make sense as far as, like, you're learning real things that you're going to need in 6th, 7th grade and going into high school. It's like, all right, so you already learned.
My 5th grade, I learned to be a Nazi.
Oh, yeah.
We've already talked about that.
Yeah, we have an episode on that, but that's great, though.
Yeah.
It really, that's something you do still use in your daily life.
Yeah.
You know? But, yeah, so I had a lot of those situations.
It's really helped me concentrate over the years.
Yeah. But I've had a lot of those where I'd be in school and it never even occurred to me. I remember people being like, Jeremy, why didn't you just do your homework? We all do. And it never even occurred to me, like, it might be important that I do well.
Yeah.
I was just there to, like, fuck around.
Yeah.
It didn't, like, the rainbow and all, like, what does it matter if I know what 5 + 8 is? You know what I mean? Like, I'm here. I'm just going to fuck around. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm sorry. I'm going to make you say stuff. I'm going to whatever. I'm going to start a protest to get us out of art class. That's what I did in school, especially pre-high school. I was always fucking it up. But I do. It's weird. You know how people always talk about how you'll have something that'll trigger a memory? Like, you'll smell something and, like, you smell a certain kind of cookies or something and it'll remind you of your grandma. You know what I mean? Like, people have those, like, sensory memories.
No.
I think you're broken inside.
I don't think of my grandma when I smoke cookies. I'm sorry.
When I forget somebody's name, I think of my grandma. Dude, our sister, like, for the listeners, our mom's been dead for, 14 years? Mm-hmm. She's just bones now, I guess.
Yeah.
But, anyway, our sister was telling me that, like, a while back, she was at the store, and she smelled our mom's perfume. She's like, I smelled it, and then I went up and told this lady that my mom wears that perfume, and she died, so, like, some lady just, like...
The lady's like, I'm gonna stop wearing it!
Late night...
starts watching it all.
He watched late night TV, it's like, did you wear Chanel No. 5? Yeah. But
it's all like, if you're wearing whatever, you may be...
Yeah. So, our sister was like, just sniffed that lady, and the lady was like, oh, okay, you can smell me.
Yeah.
Like,
so she's all like, gets in there and hugs, right? Like, buries her, like, her nose in her neck. Right?
And he's like, are you licking my neck?
Yeah.
She's like, I love the taste of mom's perfume.
She's like, you taste like mom. Right?
Speaking of which, what flavor douche do you use?
Oh, wow.
Flavor douche. Yeah. I don't know if they flavor it. I don't even know if anybody uses it. I think they found out it's very bad for you. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I don't know what mom perfume. I wouldn't know if you sprayed it in my face.
I don't like smell something and then remember, like...
Yeah, but you do have like there's a certain smell that I'll catch every once in a while. It'll remind me of like my young years in school.
What?
Smell of semen is what it is.
What the hell?
No, it's something. It reminds me of like the cafeteria.
You see it rainbow and hate math?
Yeah.
You're just like, fuck math. Everyone's like, what?
I'm like, I tried, okay?
You're just like running down the street saying fuck math. Trying to get away from the rainbow.
Yeah, I didn't get a pot of gold at the end of that rainbow for sure. But I'm sure somewhere there's some like podcast called the Old Teachers Podcast, and they're just they're like, this kid, he like couldn't add. Yeah. Like, he just gave up and guessed on
like, oh, the rainbow problem. He couldn't get that.
They're like, that's basically...
They're like, it's 56.
Yeah, I remember being like, the number I put was like stupidly wrong.
Yeah.
It's like I put 66, they're like, no, the answer is Winston Churchill.
Yeah,
you know? I'm like, I thought this was
it was
math.
a word problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but
You just wrote stuff.
just a big fuck you to the teacher.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but
She's like, this ain't science class.
oh shit. But yeah, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would recognize the smell of mom. In fact, she's been dead so long. If a lady who was like her doppelganger,
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd recognize the look of her.
That's
honestly,
crazy, right? Yeah.
I mean, I guess you probably would.
Well, time goes by. You know, people are like, "Oh, I think about her every day." No one's saying that now. You know, maybe at first people do that. 'Cause
I
like,
try to
nice
talk
talking.
about mom every day because I have a son that never met her.
But
So I want him to have like a memory of his grandma and stories.
yeah, but
I don't sit there and cry with my hands over my face every day.
Every
Like,
day.
Mom died.
Right,
I
every
mean,
day.
sure, did I today? Obviously. But no,
Yeah.
I mean, I know. I cried, I think, once due to mom's death.
but
It was when I saw how little amount I got from the life insurance. I was like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? It's not fair.
you're like, I guess I'll just buy me a PlayStation 2.
Oh, yeah, I wish.
No, anyways, so at the school, did you ever, when you went to school at any of them, did you ever have like cops just walking around the school?
No, well, when I was in high school, like, they had to come sometimes for things, but we didn't have, like, how some of the big schools have,
Or, like an attempted murder down the hallway. Yeah.
yeah, we had that.
Right.
Yeah.
I never had like, I mean, I guess you'd see them in there. Maybe they're getting something. Maybe I just never knew that.
Well,
while
at
they were
bigger
there.
schools, there are, like, campus police.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that bad.
I think it might be.
I see it on the movies, and you assume it's like the, bad neighborhoods. You know?
I always think, like, when you hear shit like that, it's like the school that Michelle Pfeiffer worked at on that one movie.
What?
Gangster's Paradise. What's that
Oh
movie?
yeah. I just remember the movie that made fun of it.
Yeah, that's with the little cars go on
the cars that
on his braids and his hair. Yeah. No, but I never went to a school that had that.
Mm-hmm.
But we had like the assistant principal.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the one that deals with like, what's the word I'm looking for? What's it called when you're being bad?
Like discipline?
Yeah, discipline. Yeah, there you go.
The assistant principal does that?
Yeah, I guess that's how it was set up. And the assistant principal, at least by my last couple of years there, was this lady that had.
She ain't got no fucking.
No, she had no. But also, she had like it was pretty well known that she was like flirty with some of the boys.
Oh.
Like when she would, because she was a teacher.
She's like, you've been a bad boy.
When she would lean, like she was a teacher of English, I think, and she would lean down to help you in like her nasty ass tits. Like she wasn't hot. Nobody thought she was hot, and she was that. So then when she was like disciplined, I had no respect for it.
Yeah.
In fact, I know I've told you, but my very last day of school ever, of high school, I actually had detention, and because I got into an argument with her, and that was what set me to detention.
You said it before.
Yeah, but
on the last day.
The very last day of school for me, I was in detention. And it was just so lucky that the person who was like in charge of detention that day was one of my coaches, Coach Caesar. Mm-hmm. He's like cool as shit, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, Hadley, come here. He's like, if you want to like just go, if they say anything, I'll just say you must have snuck out. And I was like, all right, later. That was my last day of school. That was my last time to exit a classroom of school was Coach Caesar being like, hey, sneak out and don't mention my name.
Yeah.
If that doesn't explain everything you need to know about this podcast.
Like, you snuck out, and they're like, well, what are they going to do?
I told them that, but then I found out, so I was graduating, and I found out like a day before graduation that I technically didn't have enough credits to graduate.
Oh, shit.
Because I had transferred during my freshman year.
Yeah.
And you know how different schools, like, you have to have like 28 credits? Mm-hmm. The school I transferred from needed less or something, but I was like a half a credit short of graduating. And they just
half a credit,
something like that, and they just like fixed the numbers.
Yeah,
because they were like, let's fucking do that.
They're like, all he's got to do is go to school the last day, all day, and he'll graduate. If not, he's got to do a whole 4 more years of high school. Right?
Oh shit! And also I had like 4 textbooks that needed to be turned in.
I loved high school,
and I didn't have I ended up graduating. They let me do the ceremony. Because it would be embarrassing not, I guess. But I never turned in those textbooks.
See, I loved high school. of course, it'd be different going back now. There's all these kids way younger. You know what I mean? Half my age.
Yeah.
Right?
You're trying to fuck a 15-year-old.
Like, hey, teacher. I'm like, what are you talking about? Right? You know? I'm like, hey, what'd you get for number 12, right?
Yeah, where's the party this weekend, Susie? She's like, get away from me.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you're like older than my dad.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, like, could be around the same age on some of them.
I have a kid. I mean, we both have a kid that's 5. And I see when I go to things, like pick up my kid from the school he goes to, and all the parents picking up kids his age are like young people.
Yeah.
There's a few that are around my age, but, you know, I'm 37, and it's pretty common for the people picking up 5-year-olds to be like 26, 27.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And I'm just like, I'm over there like, hey, you know, they're like, get that guy away from this
They were in
school.
elementary when you were graduating high school.
Yeah. Well,
you know? They were his age when you were graduating high school.
Exactly.
I mean, like,
there's one girl that we both know that was actually friends with my stepdaughter. She has a kid between mine and your son's age. It's like 6 or so, something like that. And she is 21, something like that. She got pregnant when she was like 14 or something. And so I was always thinking, like, this is gonna be hilarious when we go to.
That's the sound her boyfriend was making.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy too, though, because she was one of these chicks that even when they were kids, she, like, this isn't like a creepy thing, but she looked way older than she was. She was very tall, and she just looked way older. And I remember making jokes all the time, like inappropriate jokes about the way she looked. And then when I found out she was pregnant, I was like, of course she is. Yeah. Of course she is. You know, this chick that is 14 and looks like she's 37. You know, she don't look like she looks.
What's crazy is there's people out there that straight up just hated high school.
Yeah, I mean,
people that remember back and then just like, oh, I couldn't, you know. I had like friends that just hated high school.
I kind of did it in some ways. I mean, I had some fun, I you know, and stuff like that. But I always felt when I was in high school, it wasn't even that I was so ready to get out, because I didn't know what was going to happen when I got out. I didn't know. It's not like my daddy had a spot for me at the firm.
You'd fail at life, right?
I assumed I would.
All right.
I honestly assumed.
They assumed you were going to be in jail.
I mean, it's not a good jumping off point when you're jumping off into the real world and you're in fucking detention sneaking out on your very last. I was 19 years old. I should have been through with those childish ways.
An adult, yeah.
Yeah, I was 19, which was part of the reason I got in trouble.
Here's the difference between me and you and that, all right? On my last week of school, I was already setting up and signing up to be a substitute teacher the next year.
Yeah, that's because you wanted to fuck those
I hadn't even graduated yet, and I was already substituting to be, or planning to substitute for the next year. Well, that was back when I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah, but you were and have always been, like, you have, like, you like see something and you push towards it. You like, you're not you don't put things off. You're like, oh, this needs to get done, so I'm gonna do it. I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, oh, this needs to get done, I'll get to it. Yeah. You know,
well, sometimes I do that. I mean,
yeah, but you are like a driven person. You like get to a job and you're like I'm trying to figure out how the boss does it so that I can take his job. When I get to my job and I'm just like, I'm trying to hide and do a good job, but not let it be so known that I did a good job, because I don't want them to try to move me out.
I remember back when we were kids, a long time ago, I was probably like 9 or 10. Maybe 11, 12.
You talking about the door?
No. So, we were going to go mow. We were told to go mow. And you said that you were going to do bad on purpose so they won't ask you to do it anymore.
Where was that?
This was out in Morales. And I was just like, why would you do that?
I don't remember that.
Why would you do bad on purpose?
I mean, I'm not saying I didn't say it.
You were 4 years older than me then. So if I was like 12, you were 16.
The White House that we lived in?
No.
Oh, the trailer house that we lived in?
Oh. You're like, I'm gonna mow, but like bad, so they won't want me to do it again. And I was just like, Mom's gonna mow then. You don't, you know what I mean? But I was just like, why? You know, I never really did see that.
Now that's funny, but that's not my way in life. Like, I do take a lot of pride in work and things that I do, but I also this is a good example. We recently I discovered a podcast that I started listening to that's like an independent small podcast, doesn't have a huge audience, not a big well-known thing, but it's really good, right? And so I was gonna get in contact with the guys who do the podcast and see if they wanted to hook up with us, and maybe we'll have one of them as a guest or vice versa, and do things to help each other promote, right? And I know me and I know you. So I called you and I was like, hey, dude, I found these guys and I think we should do this. And I have all these great ideas. Yeah. And I was like, so I told them you're going to get a hold of them. And you're like, why? And I was like, because I won't go through with it.
Yeah.
I'll forget. I'll just put it off. I'll be nervous about talking to people. Yeah. I knew. And you're like, dude, just do it. And I was like, yeah, but you get things done.
I was like, I'm working. I can't do it right now. I can't go just like stop. I'm like, hey, hold on, guys. I got to call this podcast.
It's funny, though, because the dude who, the host of that podcast, I messaged him and said, hey, I like y'all's podcast. Yeah. I'd like to do some things together. And then he's like, oh, that's awesome, whatever. And then I was like,
he's like, we're not into gay shit.
Yeah. But I told him, I was like, my brother, who is the co-host, I said, I'll get him to message you. And he was probably like, but you're talking to me now. Yeah, no. I was like, but it's just, I don't know what it is. That's just what,
yeah.
You are an ambitious person that gets things done. And, like, dude, you'll say something kind of weird.
Okay.
Like the other day, you're like, I'm thinking about getting a new vehicle. And I was like, oh, cool. And then you show up at the house with a new vehicle. I'll say, like, I'm thinking about getting a new vehicle. I've been saying that for 3 years before I got one. But you're very, like, driven, like, I think that what it is you are a, you write down things. What's that called? I'm very bad with words today.
Yeah, you are.
But it's like you're like a goals, achieve it, new goals, achieve them, new goals, achieve them. Like, you have you have an idea of what you want to be doing, like, your life to look like in 10 years.
Yeah.
Mine is like, I hope it's just like this. I don't want it to...
Actually, I was just talking about it today. I want to own an RV somewhere in my mid 40s, so I can start going on trips and stuff, and that way it's paid off by the time I retire.
Yeah, exactly. That's the kind of shit. That's crazy to me.
I was talking about that just a couple hours ago, actually.
But, so anyway, just so that we're not, like, this isn't like... The podcast that I said, I might as well, like, plug them because I brought them up and use them for that story.
Yeah, they do movies. I want to listen to one, actually. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, it's
I don't even listen to ours.
The podcast is called Action Movie Podcast Now. And it is, this isn't anything, they're not paying us, or they don't even know I'm plugging them right now. But it's these two guys, and it's Michael and Philip are their names. And yeah, they take action movies and they spread it out. But they are real in-depth. They're real knowledgeable about not only movies, but, like, they have a...
actors and directors and stuff like that?
Yeah, but they have, like, their takes on things are, like, in-depth. One of them is a filmmaker himself.
They don't sit there and make jokes about the Terminator.
No, they do make jokes. They're funny guys. They make a lot of good jokes. But they have, they look at things from... like the story arc. I like how they did that, and this character, and I like how they used the emotion of this, and I think what it meant was all that shit. Me and you talk about a movie and we're like, we're like, do you think it would have been better if, like, Arnold would have been played by Michael J. Fox? you know?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But the action movie podcast, I don't know what it's called. It's called Action Movie Podcast.
He tried to get away from Kyle Reese. He couldn't seem to shake him.
Yeah. So Sarah looks down and there's a red dot zigzagging on her chest.
Oh shit!
And Kyle Reese is like, just be very still and you'll be safe.
He's really heavy. Okay. Anyways. All right, so this has been episode 135. Please like, subscribe, find us on Facebook. Please go on to iTunes, leave us a review. Email us at thebadvibe at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And we will send you a rubber bracelet that says our logo on it.
Yeah, the Bad Vibe Podcast.
It's supposed to be coming in this next week.
Wristband.
And we will mail it to you for free.
Yeah, for free.
Yeah. So, anyways, leave us a review. So, please share. Please go out, tell strangers. Go to the some old lady. Not an old lady. She ain't gonna listen. She's like, "What's a podcast?" Right? Right, anyway.
She plugs headphones into her pacemaker. She's like, "Is this how you listen?" She's like,
and then she dies.
She's like, "All I hear them saying is thump thump, thump thump, thump thump." She's like, "They're funny, sure, but they keep saying the same thing over and over."
So, anyways, yeah, go tell everybody.
Yeah,
please.
tell everybody. Like, just if you have friends at all. That's impressive because I don't really.
Yeah, if you don't, just go tell random people.
But just go tell people. Listen to the Bad Vibe Podcast because the bigger it gets, the better it'll get.
Yeah.
We're not doing very good now because not enough people are listening.
Yeah, they're not.
I'll actually be funny if we get a lot of listeners.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, this has been episode 135. As always, if you're listening to this, you are the bad vibe.